Good morning, students. I hope you all are safe and good for grade 7. Today we are going to see the remaining part in History chapter 3, that is the Delhi Sultans. On previous class, we learned how Delhi became as a capital and who are all the dynasties were captured by one another and how it reached this much popular, right? Today we are going to learn about Alauddin Khilji, Muhammad Tughlaq's administration, and about the masjid and how the garrison town was created and how it was used by those kings. About masjid, on hearing the word masjid itself, we can know it is a mosque. We all know. In Arabic, we will say it as masjid. A place where the Muslim peoples, they have devoted to the God Allah. All will join together, combine together, and they will do the prayer. The prayer is called as namaz. They all will do the prayer together. All the Muslim peoples will pray on facing the Mecca. In India, all the Muslim people, they will face west side and they will pray because Mecca is on west side of India. This is called as Qibla. Next, the administration under the Khiljis and Tughlaq. How the administration was. The empire was very big. The empire was expanded to very big and large portion. The governors in all the kingdoms and all the assemblies in administration, the governors will be in the high caste people, right? But in this their period, in Khiljis and Tughlaq period, they used slaves, especially Iltutmish is there, no? He used slaves as his administrator, as a governor. He appointed the slaves as a governor. Slaves were purchased for the military service. They will purchase the slaves for the military purpose. Bandagan in Persian they will say. And the slaves were trained and depend on only for the master. The slave, if one king, if Alauddin Khilji, he is adopting one slave, means that slave is full and full responsible and he will obey the orders and law, whatever all the way he is saying, he will obey only for the master. That is Alauddin Khilji. But for his son and all the other peoples, he will not accept. So all the slaves were trained, depend on only the master, and they will loyal to the master, not to the heirs, not for other things. Many Tawariks criticized law and based on the bond. Tawariks, we have learned in the previous session, they were criticized law and based on their birth, they were criticized. And about the revenue. Khilji and Tughlaq appointed military commanders. Khilji and Tughlaq, both of the kings, they appointed the governors to maintain the military and for the territories. For their territories, they appointed the governors and they have to collect the taxes from the people. And the land was controlled by the governors or called as Ikuta. The land was called as Ikuta and the landholders, they were called as Ikutadar or Mukti. The land is named as Ikuta. The land which is governed by the governors of Khiljis and Tughlaq, they are called as Ikutadar and Mukti. They will maintain the law and order of the Ikuta. The governors, they will maintain the law and order of the Ikuta and collect revenue. And the hinterlands, the samantas, the chieftains, they also want to pay taxes. They all are the higher officials, but also the hinterland owner, the samantas, the chieftains, all the people those are living in Sultan's region, the Tughlaq's region, they have to pay the revenue, pay taxes. Local chieftains are not allowed to collect taxes. Local chieftains are there, no? The samantas, the hinterlands, they are not allowed to collect taxes individually from the people. What are the types of taxes? There are 3 types of taxes the Khiljis and Tughlaq they have followed. Kharaj, that means on cultivation. If the peasant is cultivating, on that they need 50% of tax. On cattle and houses, they collected the tax on based on this 3. based on the cultivation on cattle and houses. The empire was vast. It was so big and large. It was so difficult to control the whole empire. So many of the independent land chief and the Samantas, they started independence ruling. In 1219, Mongols under Genghis Khan invade Transoxiana. The Genghis Khan is there, no? He belongs to Mongols. He invaded Delhi Sultan on 1219. The administrative challenge. It was such a big administrative challenge for Khiljis. See here, how was the administration of Alauddin Khilji and Muhammad Tughlaq? Delhi was, while in the period of Alauddin Khilji, Delhi was attacked twice on 1029 and 1003, and 3. Alauddin Khilji, he raised a large standing army and he created the garrison town for the soldiers. It's called as Siri. He newly captured the places and he started creating new garrison towns for their soldiers. And for their soldiers' food, he collected taxes from the peasants. From the common people also, he collected taxes. Merchants who did not sell the goods in prescribed rate were punished. In Alauddin Khilji period, the administration was really too good. The law and order was maintained properly, and the merchants, those who are not selling the prescribed rate of Alauddin Khilji, they were punished, and administration were successful. But in Muhammad Tughlaq's, in his administration, attacked on early time. First he was attacked by earlier and that much power he didn't have. He was confident about his army and raised a large standing army a later period. But Alauddin Khilji, he created a new garrison town, but the Tughlaq, the old cities, he used the old cities as a garrison town. We all know what is garrison town, right? And he also collected the taxes from the peasants for the feed of their soldiers, and additionally he collected also other taxes. But this made the common people to suffer a lot. Salary are paid and release of token. For the soldiers he gave token. On paying the salary, now we are using the currency, right? Like that he started token system. Administration was mostly failure in his period because he focused mainly on his soldiers and on his kingdom. He didn't think about the common people. So this made a lot of failures to face in his kingdom period. Right, children? This is about the Delhi Sultans, their administration and their developments and the defeat. Later we have learned that the chart, how the peoples, the Delhi Sultans, they came and who are all the kings. I hope you all have a clear idea about Delhi Sultans. Thank you and have a great day, children.